ahead and get started with the meeting.
Mike, is there any way you can shut the pool pump off for like 20 minutes? Just saying, 'cause it's really loud.
Oh, I know.
I can't hear the pool pump talking.
We've had some discussions about how to handle that, so. Okay, so, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order at 7:31 and certify there's a quorum of 4 members, 4 here and 1 on the phone. And the meeting was noticed in accordance with Florida statutes. We'll go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So we brought our own flag for that. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Just so everybody knows, I'm recording the meeting verbally. And if anybody else wants to, you're recording?
I will like to disclose I'm recording for clarification.
Okay, excellent. Anybody else? Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. You guys can grab seats.
Do you happen to have an extra I could hand it around? If you don't worry about it. We'll just give a quick look and I'll pass it around.
Okay, thanks. Okay. So as you're aware, we had an incident on Friday of last week where most people may know Jennifer that walks the community all the time. And she was walking past the Richardson's residence, and she noticed this tiny little area that looked like it was starting to sink a little bit. She went up and knocked on their door, and Richard came out. So in the span of maybe a minute, when they walked back to the hole, she said, "Oh my gosh, it's grown already." So, and it continued to grow throughout the day. Before we went out to dinner Friday night, I stopped by and took a look at it, and it had gotten a lot deeper. The company that came out and surveyed yesterday estimated it at 13 feet deep, but I think it's much deeper than that. I think it's about 16 to 18 feet. So we had Public Works, and Claremont Public Works has been great. They've been very supportive, offering what assistance they can, keeping in mind that it's a private community, so there's some things they can't necessarily say or do, but they've done a great job supporting that. And they got all the barricades set up to block the road, tape it off, everything else. And by 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, we had expanded it out to block off a larger area because it had continued growing up until then. Claremont Public Works also came in and they shut off their water main that runs right in front of that house. And fortunately, it only shuts off water for the first 3 homes. So they then brought up and connected hoses from the fire hydrant outside of the development and ran it up to the back of the homes and daisy chain to provide all of them with water during this time period. Unfortunately, shutting off that water main shuts off water here, and since we can't have any water for flushing, that becomes an issue. So we had to close the pool. So anyway, we'll go ahead and we'll get started. With board's work. So we had the attorney respond, and he said that basically you'll see that the property boundary line ends at the edge of the sidewalk. This means that most of the sinkhole is on the association's common area, tract R, which includes the private street, landscaping, buffer, and sidewalk. And while homeowners are responsible for maintenance of that area, that includes trimming, lawn care, irrigation, that kind of stuff. But in the case of this, Tom said, nope, this is on the board. Now, if you've seen some of the pictures, you know that there's a cavern of that area that is underneath the Richardson part of the property, and it's close to that large oak tree. So the concern is that if anything were to further happen and erode more from that if that tree was compromised and it came over, we'd have a real mess on our hands, because there's gas, there's Pico lines running through there, and of course the tree would obviously tear up an awful lot of stuff as well. So that's why.
Can you talk this way?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're talking that way.
Well, I know,
Yeah.
if we get through next, this is like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, I'll talk louder. So that's where we are with the situation with whose responsibility it is. We checked on that. We also had our CAM checking with our insurance company to see what would be covered possibly, and we're waiting for them to get back to us and let us know. So I have the bid. We solicited a couple companies on Friday to try and get a quick response, and we ended up with, that'll be the second bid. We ended up selecting Foundation Professionals of Florida. And I sent the emails out to everybody with the full contract information and bids. So that first one is the void bill, and that constitutes 90 cubic yards of fill dirt and the heavy equipment and operators to get that down in the hole. The whole purpose of that is to arrest any further lateral development, expansion of the hole. They came out this morning, unbeknownst to us, and said that, okay, we're going to start the process. And they had already dumped 2 dump trucks full of fill dirt. And then when I came up here again a little later, the homeowner had called me and said, hey, there's another dump truck here dumping. So I came up, talked to the guy, but that's just whoever they contracted with. So he doesn't know what's going on. So I contacted the company that we're working with and spoke to the individual there and explained what was happening, what was going on, but then I also explained the concerns, because at that same time, Claremont Public Works showed up, and their concern is there's a water main that runs right through that area. And if you had seen it a few days ago, you know, clearly the water main was exposed. The concern is as they dump that filter down on top, puts pressure on that pipe. And it may not necessarily affect it now, but when they turn the water back on, it can compromise the bell housings at each end. So I spoke with Claremont Public Works. I conveyed that information to the company. They talked to their engineer and he said, oh, we don't think it's going to be a problem. But if we end up approving the bid tonight, they will come out tomorrow and they'll move the dirt from where it is now over to the area underneath where the tree cavity is. And then they'll backfill underneath the water main pipe, compact it in with the backhoe, and then go ahead and fill in the sides, compact it in, taking care not to damage or move that pipe in any way or fashion. But we discussed it earlier. Tony had emailed me with concerns about the fact that, you know, that pipe could already be damaged. So if we approve this bid and we have the company out tomorrow to finish this fill, I'm going to make sure that we have Public Works here.
Yeah, they should inspect it before they cover it.
Yep.
Yeah, pressurize the pipe and then cover that.
And you can also make sure you put in this thing that, you know, that, there's supposed to be.
I can't hear you, Lenny.
There's no damage. Pipe.
Yeah. Yeah, I already conveyed that to the attorney, but we're going to pass that on to the company as well. You know, I told Tom, I said we already have some issues with the contract, you know, and explained the situation. But
They need to acknowledge it in the contract.
yep, it's got to be in writing. So that's where we are with this one. And then the other bid is the Geotech bid. This is where they come out and they do ground pound radar mapping, and they also do core sampling and stuff like that. That can't be done until the hole is filled. And I'm actually surprised because when I was talking to Claremont Public Works on Friday of last week, they said, oh, they'll come out and they'll mark it, and then you have to wait 72 hours. And if it moves any more, then you have to wait 72 more hours. So they ended up doing it differently. And that's how these folks do it. But this is their specialty. So I don't have any problems with them doing it that way. And honestly, I've been monitoring it every day, multiple times a day, and I haven't seen any growth since what happened after 2 o'clock. After 2 o'clock on Saturday.
Mike, are we allowed to ask questions?
We're going to have an open forum at the end.
But it sounds like you're steamrolling to fill it. But I'd like to ask a question before you start filling it.
At the end of this, we'll have an open forum.
Is it after you vote?
Yep.
What's the point?
Why are we here?
So, okay, so this is not an open forum right now, number one, but if we reach, or if we have some information that changes our minds, we can change that back quickly, okay?
No, that's stupid.
No,
First,
Mike?
I can't hear you.
Mike?
How many yards was this first bid?
move your chair up here.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna move my ass way out of here.
That's your choice.
Yep.
Okay, so the second bid is for the geotech testing. That is the ground penetrating radar, the core sampling, all of that. And we'll go over that bid as well.
Yeah, so
So you have this, the Jeep, the ground penetrating stuff? Sorry, that's there. This is just the scope of work and the cost associated with it. So that's going out to everybody as well. But so the attorney has also sent a letter to the homeowners, apprising them of the situation, and the fact that there's a small portion of that might be on their responsibility to handle that cost as well. It's a small portion, but we'll do some measuring and try to figure out exactly what that is. In the meantime, the association will take care of it, and then the attorney said, we can pass those costs on to them. But I'm sure that's open for discussion as well between the homeowner and the attorney.
Before we fill it, we get the fill company to estimate the amount for us.
Yeah. I'll get the guy when he comes out tomorrow, if we approve it. We'll go ahead and get that measured, so we know what that area is and what that cost would be to them. And the attorney also recommended that they contact their insurance company to see if any of that is covered for them as well. So I think I've addressed the importance of the action to move quickly on this. So what I'd like to do now is go ahead and yeah, let's open it up. I'll make a motion to open it up for discussion amongst the board for any questions, concerns you may have. And then we'll move from there, and we'll cover both of the bids for that. So I make a motion to go ahead and open it up. Second? Okay, all in favor? Okay. So everybody's in favor. So we'll go ahead and open it up for discussion. So, fire away.
So we have a proposal here, the scope of work to put fill dirt in there.
Yes.
Which is a requirement before they do the geotechnical testing.
Yes.
I don't have any experience with sinkholes, so I don't know what next steps are after the geotechnical testing. I do have friends of mine that have had experience with this on their properties, and they had to come in and do additional work after the fact. What has this company said, okay, after we do the void fill, after we do the geotechnical testing, what are next steps after that?
Yeah, so, in the contract, it provides the fact that, there may be additional work that has to be done and additional costs that have to be borne.
We have no idea.
We have no idea at this time. The first thing they have to do is fill the hole, and then they have to do the core sampling. The core sampling allows them to analyze the makeup of the soil, the density of it, and then from there, they'll proceed with filling that. But the guy that was here on Monday said that basically they drill down to create that core cavity, and then they start filling it, and as they go up, and it may be grout, it may be a concrete type material, and as they fill, they'll fill it until it starts to back up, and then they raise it up, and then they fill some more, and they'll pull it out, and then they'll move to another location so that they can do it there while that dries, and then they come back and they add to that. So that's what's been explained to me and how that works. But yeah, there's no idea yet until they do the fill.
That's part of the technical testing, that's that $4,000 quote.
Yeah. That's just to do the core sampling, the GPR mapping.
And so materials that are part of that are included in this cost, the geotechnical testing cost. That includes the materials that are required for the penetration test. This is not just a service contract, it's materials as well.
It's the materials that they have to use for that. But no, there's no other in addition stuff because they're not at that stage yet. So we need to be aware of that.
Hopefully there's warnings or issues done or not done. They find a deal with us, we'll find out what the additional work is.
Yep, exactly. And Hartwood Marsh down the road has apparently already had 2 sinkholes in their community, and one of them was apparently quite large, and I believe it took up some of the road. So they have some serious problems there. You know, we're in Florida, so it's unfortunate. We get this kind of weather, and that's a good thing, but Harwood Marsh, or Harwood Reserve, sorry. I don't know the date.
I think it's been something like 8 years ago.
Okay, so what else does the board have?
It was actually Southern
No,
Fields,
I like this.
and the year was
Question is,
2007.
90 cubic yards, if they don't use it all, credit back to the unused.
Yep, we'll make sure that they do that, because that's a consumable material, and if we don't need it, then we don't pay for
And
it.
the management is going to generate a claim with the insurance company.
Yep. Well, we'll find out if the insurance company covers it, or what portion of it they cover. That'll be the first thing we do, but then, yeah, we'll file a claim with the insurance company. And I also talked, I think I mentioned it before, but, you know, I talked to Tom about, well, what if we don't have the insurance company out here giving us their blessing at this point? We've got enough of evidentiary information recorded. We've got videos, we've got pictures. We've got the engineer's report, we've got drone videos down in the hole. So we're covered with all of that information. And we've also done our due diligence by informing the insurance company of the situation. So it's on them now to come back to us and tell us what's up and what's happening.
The sort of thing you don't really have a choice to do or not do, you have to do it.
Yep.
And, you know, we need to go back to wherever we just need to try to get quality measurements so we know what is association responsibility and what is homeowner.
Yep, I agree. Okay. So, is there any other questions, concerns that the board has?
The only other thing that I would say is that we reached out to the attorney regarding the scope of work and the proposal, and the attorney came back with suggestions for some additional language to be included. And I think we need to go back to that company. If we approve this to go forward, it would be with the additions to those proposals from the attorney.
Okay.
Plus the verbiage created about testing the water main, to make sure that it's.
Right.
To the attorney, so the vote is contingent upon the attorney's language being added to the contract and that water main being tested prior to being filled in completely.
Pressure tested by the Claremont.
Well, that's Claremont. That's Claremont's public works
I
fault.
get it, but
We'll
we
ask.
don't want them to represent.
Yeah, I will certainly ask them tomorrow, because like I said, when, if and when we approve this, if this company can come back tomorrow and continue this process, I'm gonna make sure that I get Public Works here, and they've been very supportive. You know, they're on the clock 24 hours, so I'll make sure that they're here and they've got somebody, you know, a representative that'll say what's acceptable and what's not. And they were very concerned about that pipe to begin with, and the fact is, it may last for 2 or 3 months, and then all of a sudden there's an issue. And if we had a break at that bell housing, because of the stress that had been put on it at some point earlier, that would be a big concern.
Have we had any of the other utility companies like Talking Natural Gas, Spectrum, whoever review their utilities that are in that area of the?
Their utilities are far enough away, none of theirs are exposed right now. So, however, Claremont Public Works on Friday notified all of those folks and said, hey, you know, we got this issue here, you know, you need to be on the hook just in case. So they notified Spectrum, they notified Pico, they notified Lake Apopka Natural Gas.
But you said the Spectrum line is Summersville, that one is.
Yeah, but they're aware of it, and there doesn't seem to be any concerns about that right now. So, I can certainly get them out here, but I think it's more important that when the company does this filling, that they're taking all the necessary precautions and proper steps to fill this in properly without putting any kind of, tension, stress on any of the utilities. Now fortunately, the fiber line, that's a conduit, so it's a slightly different ballgame than that water main. But that's, the biggest thing is the water main, or potential for water main. Okay, anybody else? We don't. Okay, so then I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the fill hole bid, which is,
Do we know how much it is?
yep. It is
Void fill is $27,500.
yep. So we have to,
Of $13,750.
What?
that was. So yeah, the void fill is 27,500. And we have to pay 50%.
Looks like they want to defend it, because they didn't think they already started bringing dirt. So we can, before it gets mad, we can get a check and get it out of here.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve the fill bid. Need a second?
Yeah, well, state in the amount, during the amount of the 27,500, or did you put in the amount in the motion?
Oh, sorry. Okay, so making a motion to approve the void fill bid at $27,500.
I'll second.
Okay?
With the condition that the company adds the language that the attorney has recommended to the contract.
Smart.
Okay. And also the,
Water main, yeah.
okay? So I have a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, so we have all in favor? So now we'll move on to the geotech bid. That is a total cost of $4,000. So I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve the geotech bid at $4,000.
I'll second it.
Okay?
Again, with the condition that the company adds the language that the attorney has recommended to the proposal of the contract.
Yeah. Okay, I have a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. So we have approval of both of those. And I will contact that company tonight to get them rolling, hopefully tomorrow, so that we can get this resolved, as quick as possible.
Are they aware of the additional verbiage that the attorney recommended?
Yeah, I'll provide it to them. I'll make sure they get it.
Both sides want to have it.
Yep.
And later on, they'll say, oh, no, 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 no.
I'll know. Yeah, when I call them tonight, I'll provide all that. Okay, any other questions? Concerns? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and open it up, for an, open forum for owners, for agenda items only. So, Mike?
Yeah, I have two concerns.
Sure.
First would be the cost sharing with the homeowner. It's a very weird shape. I don't know how anyone's going to properly estimate what percentage is on the homeowner's property. I would suggest if it's a small percent, like maybe like less than 10%, the association just pays for it. It's not worth trying to burden them, trying to figure out exact numbers. Bigger concern to me though is approving a bid for a void fill company that seems very unprofessional. They came out, started doing work before they had your okay. They started doing the work improperly, risking damaging our utilities, and you're going ahead with them. Are there no other companies that can do this in a timely fashion that
So,
are more professional?
so we contacted another company, and they seem to have much higher rates. I would say the issue with them coming out and starting to fill this morning was just miscommunication on their side, so I don't think it's in recognition of, hey, this is a bad company or this is a poor company. They've got good ratings, so
But they seem to be doing it without regard, they seem to be doing it disregarding the utilities.
So the second part of that is their engineer said, it's not an issue, it's not a problem. Claremont Public Works expressed concerns that it would be a problem, but that sounds like it's, debatable between them as to whether that is or not. We're gonna take the steps to make sure that all of that is handled properly, tomorrow, so that this gets done properly and no damage is done to the pipe, and we can get everybody, back to, normal.
Just to add to that,
Yep.
was the company that came out and dropped the bill,
Mm-hmm.
that was not this company, right? That was a contractor.
That was a contract, well, it was a contractor, it was contracted dump truck that came out and dropped.
That's what I'm saying. It was a subcontractor to the company that we're looking at to do the whole scope of work, right? Well, their contractor, not that company, right? The company is Foundation Professional Inc.
Yep.
The field company
So,
that dumped the dirt was a different company. That was my understanding.
no. Joshua worked for Foundation Professional, and he's the one that talked to their engineer at that moment and said, okay, I talked to him, and Jeremy said it's not an issue. So Part of the issue was, when they were gonna dump this in the first place, and it's in the contract, they were gonna put, skids in and lower it down in there basically, into the hole properly. But when they got here, and then they found out that we hadn't approved the contract yet, that portion was canceled. So, but because they had dumped the dirt already, Joshua went ahead and put it in the hole.
The one thing is that we're gonna get total works out to inspect it and make sure that it is
Yep.
intact, and if there's any issue, they're gonna be responsible.
I agree that's important, that Public Works inspects it. I'm concerned about the rest of their procedures. Are they going to put the rest of the dirt in properly to
I'll be here
prevent
to,
stuff?
I'll be here to make sure they do.
But no one here is an expert on that.
No, they are. But
But that's my problem.
But I'll
They're
have
not demonstrating
questions
any
for them.
expertise.
I'll have questions for them, and I'll make sure that they're answering those questions.
And the second
For the
company is the
association.
technical professionals that'll be testing it and verifying.
They're insured about the company.
Okay, Bob?
So this hasn't been approved by the insurance company, correct? So there's no guarantee that they're gonna pay for it, so the HOA might be into it for the entire amount if the HOA refuses to pay.
Well,
Well, there is, because they haven't approved it.
it's an emergency situation.
Okay, but they still haven't approved it.
We don't even know what's covered by our policy.
So let's go back another 4 to 6 months ago, one of my houses in Ocoee had a sinkhole underneath of it. It took about 85 yards of dirt, engineering, everything else, pumped up the house. They had to put 4 jacks in the house where they had to shoot it down approximately 25 to 30 feet. Came in about the same price. And you're not dealing with re-supporting a house. I think you're getting ripped off. Because the holes are about the same size. You said 90 yards? I put in 85 yards. They had to shoot in cement, and then they had to jack up the entire back of the house, and it cost me about the same amount of money. So I'm trying to figure out, jacking up the house is not cheap. So why is it costing this much more, the same amount just to fill in the hole? But I filled in the hole, and jacked up the house, and had another dump truck full of 50 yards of dirt in the back just to level it out and clean it up and re-sod it, to tell you the truth. And it's about the same price, about $35,000. So I'm kind of don't understand how filling in a hole costs the same amount about jacking up a whole house.
No, it's not 35.
And also this was in the back of the house, so they had to bring everything to the back of the house and fix the yard on the side. So I'm trying to figure out how it would be the same price.
I can't do comparisons
But it's
between
not.
what you have.
35 is about $7,000 more.
No, you
20.
said $27,500 and $4,000 for engineering.
Well, yeah, but the engineering is separate from the filling. The
It's
engineering.
still the same, you still gotta pay the same amount of money. I'm talking outdoor. I was less than 35.
I don't know if you did your technical scanning afterwards.
Sure did, I have to. It's a rental property. If I don't, I get sued. If something goes wrong with it and someone gets killed. It has to be done right. I'm just trying to figure out where you come up with these numbers.
They got multiple quotes and they will release.
And what's the deductible on our insurance, the HOA insurance?
Why?
What's the deductible?
I don't know yet. We're trying to find out.
Here's the deal. This is an emergency. We can't just leave it.
I understand that.
Well, let me finish. We don't even know if the insurance we have will cover it, but we've got sufficient documentation to make to a claim if it does. We're gonna go ahead and get it taken care of, and the management company will go forward and file a claim if we're able.
What did the insurance company say when you notified them?
Well, they haven't gotten back to us yet.
Okay. I just don't think it's a lot of money for a hole compared to a hole and jacking up a house. But that's just me.
Okay.
Mike Davis. So, I don't understand, I got probably 4 or 5 questions. So, why do you vote on something as an emergency meeting and you don't get any input from the community before you make the vote?
Because a lot of people think they're experts. I've encountered this over the last 4 or 5 days, standing out there, and everybody comes up and everybody has their opinion of what needs to be done and what the problem is and what the issue is. So That's what we're doing. We're relying on,
You're still gonna get the damage.
we're relying on the experts that are in the field that do this on a regular basis, that have a reputable company that do this work. And that's what we're going with.
So what caused the sinkhole?
No idea yet. Well,
So why are we filling a hole in if we don't know what caused it?
because the company that is doing the work are the experts in their field, and they're doing it the way, this is how they do it. So they fill the hole, they do the geo-testing, they'll do core sampling in various locations, they'll find out what's where, so on and so forth. And then, they'll come back and they'll give us a report. I know a lot of people have speculated that it's the new development and all the work that's going on back there. And, you know, we have a member on the board that has that going on in his backyard. And, you know, it's a lot of shaking and glasses in the cabinets rattling and so on and so forth.
I lived it for 4 years.
Yep.
I lived it,
So we didn't have.
and nobody helped me at all. I lived
So we
it.
didn't have the
It's not about you.
We'll see.
That void
So,
could've been there for
go
years.
back on,
Bob.
Bob Neely's. So, why are we doing something without an answer from the insurance company?
Because it's an emergency situation, and if the insurance company is going to take their time getting back to us, we've done our diligence. We've recorded all of the information with videos, pictures,
Safety factor.
and we've responded to the insurance company and apprised them of the situation.
There's
And
an
the,
engineer's report.
and the engineer's report and the attorney also said, yes, in an emergency situation, you can proceed.
We got one more, I'm losing track.
You got 20
So,
seconds.
filling in the hole. There's a right way to fill it in, there's a wrong way to fill it in. So, I know you touched on both, and it sounds like the company that showed up just wanted to start dumping dirt. There should be a city engineer standing at the edge of that hole as that hole is being filled. There should be an excavator that knows how to properly fill the hole without breaking utilities and doing any damage to what's in there right now. So that should happen before that hole gets filled.
Yeah, he said he's gonna contact the utilities and have them out here.
It doesn't say he's gonna be here. It just said you're gonna contact him. There has to be somebody here watching that, 24/7, so they're filling it.
So Claremont Public Works has been very supportive of the whole situation,
I totally agree.
and I'm gonna have them out here. I will alert them, it's up to them to come, but the understanding is that they'll be here, because that's their baby, that water main is their baby.
They need to inspect that water line before it's
So
filled.
that water line should be recharged before they start filling it. If there's any
I'll-
leaks, they will see it.
I'll leave all that up to Claremont Public Works. Mike, your 3 minutes is up.
That's it?
That's it, 3 minutes.
I had 5.
No, 3. Sorry, bud. Yes.
Hi there, I have no idea about how things should be done or any of that, but all I know is any company that starts work on a job before a contract is even signed, I have questions about, and I certainly will not
They wanted to
jump
know.
on them right away. That's all I have to say about it.
Okay. That's understood. And it surprised us as well. But they,
But you're still going on with it.
yeah,
Are they the cheapest?
we vetted everything else with us. Okay, yeah.
I just had a really quick question. I might have missed it
Oh,
when
hold on.
because I got here a little later. My question is specifically on the water main grid, on the water main. Now, you did say somebody will be out here to check and all of that. Has someone from the utility company come to check the water main itself to make sure that there hasn't been any cracks, any issues with it prior to, because I get that you can fill it and try to fill it properly, but that way, while it's exposed, while it's still out there, if there's anything that needs to be done to it prior to filling or anything like that to help reinforce now that it's been exposed, has someone actually come out to do like a full checkup on it specifically?
So Friday, the homeowner called the fire department and the police first. And then Claremont Public Works was informed, and they came out, and they started setting everything up, to block off the area, and, they checked their water, and they checked all the sewer lines, because they're looking for sand in the sewer lines
They
and
check the
stuff like
structure itself.
that. They, yeah.
That's what I was concerned about, because if you start filling and doing all that stuff, if something's gone amiss,
That's why we
the
just-
worst part would be if something then after we filled, after everything is done, that breaks, we're gonna have kind of like the same thing that happened in the front up there, where it's just washing everything away that's just been freshly put down.
Correct.
So that was what I was curious about. Again, you might have answered that, but I came up a little late. I
That's
just
why
wanted to
before
see.
they start work, he's gonna have Claremont Utility come out and inspect the line before it's covered and make sure that everything is.
So they are gonna come and check it.
Yeah.
That
So-
was my question.
So they've already investigated all of that. They did that on Friday. They were very, the folks are very proactive with activities, what's going on. Excuse me, folks. Very, very proactive with what's going on. They immediately realized as that hole was starting to get bigger, before it even got to where the water main was, exposed water main, they were concerned that the water main could be compromised. So they shut off the water main for just those 3 houses, plus unfortunately the pool as well. And then they connected hoses to the fire hydrant out front of the community, ran them over to each of the 3 residences that were affected with the water, turned off, and provided them with water.
So as it
And
stands, somebody's coming out to recheck, but as of right now, they were not able to see any significant or possible damage to the main itself.
No,
Okay.
nothing there. Like I said, they also checked all of the sewer mains. They looked for sand in the sewer lines to see what was going on, what would possibly be causing this, if there was something coming from somewhere else. The gentleman that was here yesterday from the company said, you know, we live in Florida and this stuff happens sometimes. And, you know, there's water below us all the time moving around, and the earth can shake loose. Who knows if that was some stuff that was buried there by the developers when they first built the community, and it just decayed over time and created a cavern. But right now, we're gonna move to secure that hole with the fill, the clay loop, and get it filled in so that there's no more lateral damage. As that hole gets deeper, it'll automatically get wider. But the deeper has stopped, so now we're hoping to fill it in and keep it from going anywhere.
Thank you for what you do. I mean, I should have let out the meeting and said, my questions, I wanted to thank you, and I mean
That's
that.
awesome, dude.
I mean it. And
Appreciate it.
So I didn't want to beat you up, but there's a lot of questions I wish we could have just.
Okay, so Bruce.
So, thank you guys again, that's actually what I was gonna say. Very quick response from, especially Mike, I know you were out there the night it happened, late into the night, working with the public works team to get the water back on quickly for our houses. They did an amazing job working under the dark, and, I actually have the best water pressure I've ever had in my house.
Shower good?
Shower was awesome,
Yeah.
and I ran it from the hydrant, so if we could just keep that going, I'm actually good at that.
Sorry.
No, I know. Understanding that we've got to shore it up to keep it from growing anymore, as well as from the safety standpoint, from anybody falling in or anybody getting hurt. And then, aside from that, can we consider for future potential problems with the potential for other sinkholes as they may arise or may not? Could we get information from Bob? If it sounds like he was happy with his company that he worked with before, can he get that to the board for consideration on future issues?
Sure.
So that, that's a very good idea. We've got another option at least, and, you know, when we come into the rush time, which we know it is with a situation like this, you know, you've got resources at hand
good point. I agree. You know, this is our first rodeo.
Yeah.
And there's lessons learned from everything. But yeah, that's a good point. I would have never thought that we would have had an
I bet
issue like this.
I bet $1,000 to the guys at the construction site so they could fill that hole in quicker than anybody else. And
Yeah, they're pulling out
They're
dump trucks
pulling
full
out-
of dirt from
oh,
next
yeah.
door. I mean,
Oh,
that'd
yeah.
be great to go ahead and, hey, we got a place you can dump it.
they probably do it by hand with a shovel. So, you know, it'd be gentle and no heavy equipment in there. But
Okay.
I know we can't do that.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, I didn't hear when you said that the attorney stated that the property line ends where?
So from the sidewalk out to the curb,
Which side? To the side closest
from the
to
far,
house?
from the far sidewalk. So the association's responsibility is the sidewalk
Okay,
and then the area between the sidewalk and the curb.
okay.
I got a question.
Yes.
I'm not here to beat the board up, but I'd like to know, my name is Vincent Nemick. I'd like to know exactly who contacted this contractor, number one, who authorized him to put his property on HOA property, number two, and number three, when you said that you might be going after the homeowner, did anybody do an investigation on the 30-foot hole they built on the property that they're redoing? Okay, because honestly, what I'm going at is, we were all fine and dandy until they started the construction over there. So did anybody investigate Claremont, the board, the management company? Did anybody investigate if they were part of the problem? So instead of going after the homeowner, who has a major problem because he's never going to sell that house, maybe we should be looking at going after the developer. That would be my suggestion. But I would like to know the answer to my first two questions I asked, please, in respect.
Okay. So,
So then you're gonna have an issue with the church?
Access Management and myself contacted companies and requested information from them of what the process is, what they do. And we had two companies that were contacted, and this company had lower cost than the other company. And because it was an emergency situation, we were trying to move as quickly as possible to get everything in place so that we could get this situation rectified. Now, I will say that on Friday, Claremont Public Works, all the people that were here from Public Works were saying, okay, those folks are gonna have to come out, you're gonna have to get a geotech firm out here. They have to come out, they have to mark the area, and then they have to wait 72 hours to see if it changes anything. And then if they come back and it's moved, then they have to mark it and then wait another 72 hours. But that wasn't the case with this company.
Really? I'm sorry.
So yeah, we found out after the fact that this company could respond quickly, and that's what we were trying to do, because the game plan was, let's get the hole, according to what they recommended, let's get the hole filled in so that we don't have any more lateral growth of the hole itself. And then they can conduct their core sampling and everything else.
All right, no, I understand it's a safety issue, and you guys responded very quick. I understand that as a board member, that's your responsibility. But my initial question was, who authorized that subcontractor who worked for the company which you just hired to put his property on our property before anything got done? I'm not here to beat you up. I just want to know who is at fault when those lines go bad. Because I'll tell you, Michael, you know my experience with Claremont. Those lines are damaged. So I just want to know who's going to be paying for it. Is it going to be us, the HOA, or is it going to be the contractor? Unless nobody signed a contract with them, right?
No.
So okay, so you spoke to Lawson about this, right? And
Yep.
Lawson said that they're responsible. I don't mean to answer your questions, but those are the questions I want to hear. That they're responsible, because if that line goes out, it's going to be more than $30,000 from Claremont to replace it.
Yep.
That I know for a fact.
Yep.
Okay, so we did not. Okay, perfect. Thank
No,
you.
no, we did not, and when I got the call this morning from Joshua, and he said, hey, I'm here, you know, but I found out that, the contract hasn't been approved yet, so we have to stop. I
Why
said,
did they start? I know, you should have said,
Yeah.
why'd you start? But my other question, and I hope I got time, why the hell do we go with them if they can't follow the simple rules? But
Well-
that sounds like a beat up question, so I'll disregard
Yeah.
that. Sorry.
Well, it's not a beat up question, but it is, a legitimate question, and it's a concern about their administrative side of things, doing the work properly. You know, no, they should have never started the work in the first place, and we hadn't given them any indication, or approvals, to get started with that.
See, because you said that hole, according to somebody, was 13 feet. I'm in your ballpark by saying 18 feet. But I'd like to know where the hell the other sidewalks are. It obviously went down,
Yeah,
and
three-
sand covered it. So maybe that's blocking from continuing the hole. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I do know facts on it, but thank you.
Drill holes and test and.
I agree, Lenny. You're doing it the right way, but I would never use this company. That's my opinion.
Well, we're here, and hopefully we'll get
Mhm.
the company that Bob used, and we'll maybe build up some resources for the future, so we have better options.
Okay. Darlene, you have 40 seconds to finish up.
I just wanna know if it's too late to reach out to Bob's company for a bid.
No, we're moving. If you were that homeowner, I'm sure you'd be,
It's gonna cost
let's
him.
get it done quickly.
How are they doing?
How are they doing?
How are they doing?
They moved into a hotel on Friday when the hole got bigger, and they've been staying in a hotel, and now they're on a vacation until Friday.
Great time to take a vacation.
So it works out.
Thanks for letting everybody know the house is empty.
They got cameras everywhere.
I'm just
Anyway,
joking.
just for everybody else, I mean, Mike has done an incredible job, spending a lot of hours. He has been out morning, noon, and nights trying to deal with this, and I think everybody needs to recognize the amount of effort he's put in trying to take care of it.
Thanks, Mike. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Okay. Anybody else? Okay? All right. Well, then we'll go ahead and move for adjournment. So I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Second? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay. Thanks, Jack, for tuning in